Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Cooper and welcome back to SAS Film Breakdowns. We're going to change it up a little bit and do a team breakdown of some draft eligible players. This week's breakdown highlights the North Carolina Tar Heels out of the ACC. In 2019, UNC finished 4-4 in ACC play and 7-6 overall, which was capped off by a Military Bowl win over Temple. They return a lot of big-time players to the roster for 2020 who should help the team compete for an ACC title. The players we're going to feature in this breakdown include Sam Howell, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Dyami Brown, Dazz Newsome, and Chazz Surratt. Surratt was the lone Tar Heel on the All-ACC first team last season. While Newsome landed on the second team, Howell, Carter, and Brown all were tabbed third team, and Williams finished as an honorable mention performer. Let's dive into the film now. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball with running backs Michael Carter and Javonte Williams by taking a look at a play of each against South Carolina last season. First, let's take a look at Michael Carter on a zone run to the right, and this first view is at real speed. Now, as he receives the handoff here, Carter has a defender right in front of him, but he has the shiftiness to shake him and get to the outside. Carter has enough speed to gain the edge just as he does here. He runs for a huge gain and even lowers his shoulder at the end of the play to deliver a blow. Now on the tight angle, we get a really good look at the move that Carter has to make in the backfield, and then the speed to win around the edge. It's also good to see him show some toughness and power by lowering the shoulder here at the end of the run. Now let's take a look at Javonte Williams. This is going to be a power run off tackle to the left. Now after he gets the handoff here, Williams does a good job pressing the outside and then setting up his puller before sticking his foot in the ground and getting vertical. He then runs through a couple of arm tackles before getting east and west to break two more tackles. Williams is a powerful runner and it shows here on this big play with a big time run. Carter was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, averaging 5.7 yards per carry and added 3 touchdowns on the ground. He can also be a threat out of the backfield as a receiver, as he hauled in 154 yards on 21 catches while scoring 2 touchdowns. Williams is a bigger back that grinds out tough yardage and runs with power. When we take a look at his numbers running off tackle, it's apparent that's where he likes to do most of his damage. Across 110 rushes to those gaps, he ran for 720 yards, averaging 6.5 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. He also added a broken tackle rate of nearly 31% and a first down rate of over 36. Now let's stay with the same game but focus on the wide receivers, Dyami Brown and Dazz Newsome, while also highlighting some of Sam Howell as we go. First, let's start with Dyami Brown, who is at the top of the screen. Brown was one of the most efficient slant route runners in college football, and this play will show why. Now at the snap, Brown gives a quick foot fire and jab to get the corner to jump outside. Brown then gets vertical before sticking his foot in the ground for a precise cut at the top of the route. He makes the easy catch on his numbers here for a solid gain on the play. For this next play, Brown is still at the top of the screen, but this time he's going vertical to the end zone. Now again, the foot fire off the line allows him to get a clean release. The corner here does a good job of playing physical and impeding Brown's ability to get vertical, but Brown has the strength, speed, and toughness here to work through the contact and catch up to the ball in the end zone. Once he does, he makes an outstanding one-handed grab for the score. Now this other angle does a good job of showing Brown using that offhand to keep the slightest bit of separation and then tipping the ball up to himself for a highlight reel touchdown. Now let's shift our focus to Dazz Newsome. He's lined up in the slot to the right as the number 2 in the formation and is going vertical. Now off the line, he comes out and gives a few jab steps to open up the defender before accelerating down the field. Newsome does a good job here of attempting to stack the defender and allowing Howell the space to throw him to the sideline. Howell throws a perfect ball here to allow Newsome the ability to adjust late and go up and make the grab. Now on the other view, we see him use the offhand to create a little bit of separation here, then adjust to where the ball is thrown for a huge gain. Now let's really focus on Newsome and Howell for this one. Newsome is in the slot to the left side of the formation this time and he's going to run a deep curl. But let's start with watching Howell. Now after the snap, pressure breaks through fairly quickly. One of Howell's best traits is his ability to work off schedule and extend plays. He's able to break out of a would-be tackler here and escape and make the throw down the field. Now it's a risky throw, but Newsome comes up with the grab. Now let's go back and watch Newsome here. After he runs the curl and sees Howell in trouble, he does a good job working across the field to give Howell an option. Newsome makes a great grab with some unreal concentration. Now as we turn to the end zone view, we see that Howell is able to escape and deliver the ball down to Newsome here. Not only does the ball go right through the defender's hands, but Newsome's ability to concentrate and hold on to this ball with defenders around him is definitely something special here. Brown was one of the most efficient route runners in college football last season. He caught 51 of 66 on-target throws his way for over 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. His 12 yards per target ranked 8th in the country. One of the areas he does need to clean up moving forward is his drops, where he posted a drop rate of over 15%. Newsome was another efficient route runner for the Tar Heels last season and is a dynamic receiver out of the slot. Of the 83 on-target throws his way, he caught 72 of them for 1,018 yards and 10 touchdowns. His 9.8 yards per target is a solid number out of the slot. He also added 9 broken tackles, showing he can create extra yards on his own by making defenders miss. In 2019, Howell showed really good accuracy for a freshman in the ACC, highlighted by his 38 touchdown passes. When looking at his on-target throw percentages by direction, we can see consistently high numbers all over the field. Where he stands out is 70% in the intermediate middle of the field, being able to have the touch to fit balls in over and around linebackers and safeties, while also putting up over 55% deep down both sidelines. If he continues to improve on these numbers as his career progresses, we're looking at one of the next up-and-coming quarterbacks in college football. Let's turn our focus to the defensive side of the ball now and take a look at Chazz Surratt at linebacker from last season's Clemson game. Surratt is lined up to the left of the offensive formation on the edge. Now at the snap, he shows quickness off the line, and though the tackle turns him loose, leaving him untouched, we're able to get a good look at some bend, burst, and acceleration here from Surratt as he's able to wrestle down Trevor Lawrence for the sack. Now let's watch him in coverage. It's 3rd down and about 8, and Surratt is lined up at the apex between the end of the line and the slot receiver. Now at the snap, he takes the number 2 on the stutter out route. Surratt doesn't get fooled going to the inside and transitions well to stay with the receiver going outside. As the ball approaches, Surratt is able to jump in front of the pass with perfect timing to knock the ball away and bring up 4th down. Surratt is raw and still learning the position, but when we take a look at his numbers from last season, there's a lot to be excited about. He piled up 118 tackles with 6.5 sacks and 31 pressures getting to the quarterback, while also intercepting a pass and knocking away 3 others on 17 targets in coverage. That's not too bad for a guy who was starting at quarterback for the team in 2017. For their first game in 2020, UNC faced off against Syracuse and came away with a 31-6 victory behind a huge second half. Javonte Williams assisted with much of that, scoring all 3 of his touchdowns in the final half. Carter finished with 78 yards on the ground and added 60 yards through the air, while Dyami Brown hauled in 6 passes for 94 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, Chazz Surratt led the way with 9 tackles and 2 sacks. They'll stay at home to play Charlotte this weekend. The 6 guys we just watched will all play a huge part in how the team fares in 2020, and many of them played well in the opener last weekend against Syracuse. Carter and Williams will lead the rushing attack, Howell, Brown, and Newsome will look to stretch the field through the air, and Surratt should take the next step in his development at linebacker. However, keep an eye on Corrales, Fox, Gimmel, Renee, and Woolfolk to make an impact as well for the Tar Heels. Make sure to go get the SIS Football Rookie Handbook or register for a free trial on the SIS DataHub to see all of these stats and more for every player, and also tune in each week to the Off the Charts podcast. Thanks for watching SIS Film Breakdowns.